This is UCF running back RJ Harvey.
He's short and stocky, but he's a jitterbug, high-end athleticism, coming off a truly massive redshirt senior season, puts him in the 95th percentile in terms of fantasy points per game among drafted running back. To me, the profile isn't as easy as that. He's going to be 24 years old. We're talking about a UCF running back in the era of transferring up throughout college. But you can definitely put up a big highlight reel. To me, more of a change of pace rusher than like an overall talented player.
For all of you out there, Hayden and I never exchange notes ahead of these. So this is going to make for an awesome conversation because there have been three backs over the last couple of years that I've really loved, despite obvious flaws in their profile. Tyrone Tracy last year, we know he was 24 years old, goes in round 5. Bucky Irving, bad testing at 192 pounds. He went in round 4. And the year before that, Kyron Williams, 4.65, some of the worst testing numbers you will ever see. And then he also goes in round 5. There was always something that pulled me to those players, those prospects, those evaluations. RJ Harvey is that player in this class for me. And even if he is a day 3 pick, which I expect him to be, namely because of the age, as you mentioned, just turned 24 years old in February, I still believe that he can be a productive and impactful player during his rookie contract.
Yeah, I see the same way. I think that he's going to be more change of pace to me. I think he's a better rusher than a receiver. But there is a definite elusiveness to his game. He's really short. He's got that stocky profile, 205 pounds. That's because he's 5'8". You can see how big his damn legs are with that. And you can see him make some guys miss out in the open field. And he does have run away from you ability. You saw that in the 40-yard dash where he runs at 4.4 seconds. The jumps, 83rd percentile as well. And then for somebody as small as he is, he did have 22 rushing touchdowns, which puts him at a really high mark as well.
Yeah, let's set the basis of the profile here. We mentioned that he just turned 24 years of age at 5'8", 205 pounds. He actually began his career at Virginia as a quarterback. He was an option quarterback coming out of high school. And then once he transferred to UCF, he actually tore his ACL back in 2021. So I think he's had, 6 years at the college level. He's a 67th percentile athlete, 4.40 speed with a 1.57 10-yard split, 82nd, 88th percentile jumps, and 34th percentile shuttle. But man, every type of way a back can create yards on his own, I think RJ Harvey does it. Like you watch the game against Colorado, there's an unblocked defensive lineman and linebacker at the line of scrimmage. That should be an easy one-on-one tackle. He has that phone booth elusiveness and creativity to make them just truly whiff and then create a 12-yard run off of that. Or you can look at the zone read versus Florida. He breaks an arm tackle of the read player, then cuts away from a filling defensive back in the lane, one that tries to dive for his ankles. Then another one does that 4 yards further away down the field. He makes that person miss as well, and then gets the front pylon for a touchdown. And to me, in terms of staying on schedule, I think he slow plays the middle of the field runs for his offensive linemen to get upfield, get to the second level, set their blocks, and then aggressively cuts off of that. I don't use this lightly when I say this, but I really think the game slows down for him in one-on-one situations too. Like he, kind of like Bucky Irving, knows how to manipulate those one-on-one defenders or those linebackers at the second level. He forces a hesitation or a lean in one direction, and then is just able on a single step to cut out of their reach radius of their arm length in order to stay away from them. And he's just a master at staying up on contact on any tackle attempt that is at his knees or at his ankles.
Yeah, I definitely see all that in the open space. I think the
then what do you not like? If you see all of this, what do you not like?
So a lot of his runs were zone reads, inside zone, where he would really slow play things. I agree with all that. And then he would jump to the outside. I thought he bounced things a lot. You just don't see that style in the NFL work as much. So I'm a little bit worried that some of the best looks of RJ Harvey in college are a little bit less translatable. The one stat I did come across this last season, he had 145 inside zone runs, only 6 outside zone run attempts. And I think that's just a little bit different. You don't see that big of a gap there, but it does go to the downhill ability that he has shown where he can break some tackles. He is really dense down there, but I think that he bounced the ball a lot. And I'm a little bit nervous that that's going to be a little harder to replicate in the NFL.
To me, there were multiple times when given the first and second level, like a safety as the fill player, and again, to come up and try to fill the rushing lane, and he just obliterates them. And he keeps moving while that safety is left face first on the turf on top of it. And then I thought on 4th and 1s, because there were a handful of them this year, he would stick his nose down, find a crease, and get what is needed and kind of not search for anything else in those moments. There are a bunch of stats, though, that because his underlying metrics I thought were really, really good. He was second in this class with 32 carries of 15 plus yards this year, 3.88 yards after contact per attempt, 0.298 forced missed tackle rate. He had 6.8 yards per attempt, only behind Trevion Henderson and Ashton Genty in this entire class.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, a second best EPA per touch at 0.26, only behind Trevion Henderson. 5 fumbles, 3 drops over the last 2 years, a 1.39 yards per route run, 8th in this class. I mean, to me, he was the UCF offense. And so if he wasn't creating big plays, if he wasn't doing anything to elevate his team, everyone knew what this offense was doing, and he put the team on his back. He carried them. Again, I mentioned against Colorado, Florida. There's Iowa State out there, which has like freak athletes that we know about. And every single tape, I dare the people to turn one on. Every single tape, there's at least one highlight reel play that RJ Harvey makes in every single contest.
Yeah, against players 6 years younger than him. That's maybe the caveat with him. So I think that's what's going to make him fascinating. He has
6
a lot
years
more
is
upside.
hyperbole, but I get your point.
Right. This is why he's going to go day 3 most likely. I think probably 4th round is where this goes. He has a lot more upside than that because he is very athletic, and these elusiveness numbers do mean something. But just what is translatable in the style of runs that he was getting, and then to me, where I think I got a little bit more concerned was in the pass game. There was a couple drops. I did not think he was very fluid just as a receiver. There was a couple wheel routes where the speed stands out, catches the ball, and he has an explosive trait. But I did not think that his ability to sit in zone, just turn, play on time, catch the ball, work up field was very good. I thought that pass protection was an issue. And that's why in the beginning of this, I see him as a change of pace rusher more than like typically a 5'8", 205 pound running back is somebody that's going to be utilized in pass games. I don't think I would trust him in that scenario. So I think that he's going to be more of like the RB2 or 3 in a committee where you're hoping that this explosiveness that you talk about, this elusiveness, you do get that in a very like kind of targeted role for him. And I'm not sure if I see like this well-rounded player.
Yeah, I agree with the pass protector stuff. He's just not good in that area. He does not punch and mirror consistently. And, the wheel routes, there were multiple of them. One versus TCU, one versus Colorado, one versus Florida. He also made half of Colorado's defense miss on a check down that he took for about 37 yards on top of it. And again, I get that he's 24 years old. I get that he has an ACL issue on top of that from the 2021 season. We know he's been super productive since then. But man, producer Weaves pointed this out. If you look back from the draft classes from 2021 to 2018, there have been 28 running backs that have been selected in the first and second day. So the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. Only 2 of the 28 have gotten long-term extensions by the team that drafted them. So basically every single back that teams are drafting right now, you should perceive them as like a rookie deal contract. And that's at most what they're giving us. I think RJ Harvey can be exceptional as a one contract player for any team that selects him. And I agree with you that he's going on day 3, and definitely that 2 of the 3 backs I mentioned at the top in terms of Tyrone Tracy and Kyron Williams have plus pass game ability. And I wouldn't say Harvey does, but as a runner to create explosive and create yards on their own, we talk about a bunch of those backs that go much earlier in drafts. If you can get this guy in round 4, round 5, super intriguing.
I think we ultimately kind of see this pretty similarly. Like, I think I would take him in the 4th or 5th round. And I think if your team punts it off and wants to go with the RJ Harvey committee approach, I think that's a totally justifiable path. I did want to ask you one thing about him. Did you see this rep versus Florida where this is like in pass protection? He really wasn't like lining up to pass protect, but Florida has this like 400-pound defensive tackle who kind of is looping around, and RJ Harvey, bless his heart, is sitting there ready to block this 400-pounder. Luckily, the ball gets put off in time, but it was fascinating to see how small Harvey looks versus this defensive tackle. And it's always, whenever you're watching the Florida defense, this guy always stands out. So we're lucky that RJ Harvey survived that contact.
Yeah, I'm glad we're going to take singular reps and talk about them in the future, because I've got some for Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart to lay on you once we get to those videos. So everyone out there, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up in these videos. We've got so many running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback prospect videos on the channel and on the way, plus mock drafts and everything in between. So again, hit subscribe and we'll check out the next one. See ya.